Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Outriders. Okay, so I just want to state something real quick before we get into this. We're gonna be talking about the Devastator, we're gonna be talking about balance, we're gonna be talking about world tier and all these fun things. And just honestly, like, I just need to get this out of my system because like Outriders is a series of the highest highs and oh my god, the lowest lows. I want to talk to you guys about it, but I do want to say we're gonna be talking about the Devastator specifically and the balancing stuff with him, but at endgame, things could change. World tier I want to talk about, but again, that could also change. So I just want to make sure everyone here knows. I may know. It's probably I know nothing. I know nothing. I just need to talk to someone about it because it's a lot. It's a lot. And oh my golly, did I have some misconceptions with our boy the Devastator. And also, man, I don't know. Okay. Let's just get into it. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the skill Reflect. Everyone was like, oh my god, this skill is cracked, it's gonna be so good, including myself. I thought it was really, really good. And that's exactly why I think they nerfed it, because this right here, I've sat in front of like a horde of enemies just shooting the shit out of me, and if I were to let those bullets hit me, I would get shredded. And this doesn't happen. It's weird. It's almost like there's the Reflect is capped on how much damage. It's weird, man, because there's instances where, like, holy shit, yeah, I threw back exactly the damage you threw at me, and there's other times where you throw it, like, it's almost like the bosses, for captains, or whatever you want to call them, it seems like it's capped, but then again, it didn't seem like it was always capped. It seems like when you get to a certain level in the game, you almost are negated by doing a bunch of burst amount of damage. I'm not sure if you guys are in the same boat, but I sometimes feel like I'll walk up to an enemy with a shotgun, automatic shotgun, lay into him, and it should do a lot more damage, because like I shoot him once and then I see his health go flunk. But I see, yeah, it's not like mods. I'm aware of mods and all these things. That's also another thing, like mod power, it could change the end game, could change your build. But man, I don't know. I'm personally playing, I'm just speaking from my anecdotal experience, I'm personally playing the Devastator right now, man, and I'm just constantly fought with like I try to problem solve as best as anybody. So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe if I use this skill and I use Earthquake and I add like lifesteal onto it or something, and I do this, that, then that'll work. Oh wait, I don't have half those mods. Oh wait, it's not enough healing because it's on cooldown. Oh wait, I still need a little damage. So what's happening here? And it ends up just being a kind of a mess. But also, and this I think is the crux of the issue, so much things in Outriders is based on situational pivoting or power. So the Devastator is kind of falls apart in that regard, at least I noticed that. Whereas it seems like if I think back about the Technomancer's abilities, I'm like, gotta, bang. You could have both those turrets, throw them out, let them do a lot of the work, buff those turrets up, and then just pluck away at people from afar. Yeah. And also you just have a self-heal, just like a solid fadunk self-heal. That sounds amazing. But then there's characters like the Devastator where I'm like, well, what happens when Reflect doesn't work? What happens when you're not fighting enemies that actually shoot projectiles at you? Oh, you're kind of fucked. I mean, you got this, you got Tremor. It kind of does some stuff, but if you don't build around it, then it kind of does nothing. And it's just like, ugh. And a lot of this, ladies and gentlemen, just to handle it head on, a lot of this is ego. Okay? What I mean by that is, okay, say you get to a certain point in the game and you're dying a lot. What would be the responsible thing to do? Lower your world tier. But my dude, it feels like I'm a little old baby, like a little bitch who just can't manage, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I have a rule where if I die 3 times, I lower my world tier. But I always can kind of manage by the second time, but it sucks. It's not like a fun experience. It's like I'm literally sitting, and I've even noticed as I'm playing the Devastator, nothing's working, so I'll like implement I'll basically just stop trying to play to his strengths, because his strengths aren't enough to hold him. So I ended up like getting a sniper rifle and trying to headshot a boss from like a mile away and just keep like training him around the area. Because the minute I get close, the minute I die, it's like you don't have enough self-heal, you don't have like a barrier, you don't have a shield, it's just nothing like that functions for you. And it's fucking aggravating like you wouldn't believe. But I'm also, like, again, the game is really, really fun when it's working, when you're finally like, holy shit, and that's the weird thing as well. Like, when it's working is when you're fighting ads or just basic enemies. And you'll be actually having to chain things together, and okay, you have to, like, do 2 smashes to knock this one person down, sure, and I have to get close, so you gotta get health steal, all that stuff comes into flow. But then you fight a captain, and you're just like, where's the damage I was dealing to the ad that took off like half of his health? I don't even see the bar move when I throw this at you. Not only that, but I feel like you resist half of it. Like I feel like you don't even get affected. I feel like that's a lot of, honestly, the damage I'm dealing with the Devastators. I'm like, did you put up like a shield? did you like perfect dodge? Like, whoa, what happened to the chunk of damage I just delivered? I digress. But also, the Devastator's abilities feel super, super uninspired. And what I mean by that is they're basically the same shit, all of it. Okay, you have an earthquake, cool. You just get a giant AOE bit of damage that, hey, can interrupt as well. Hey, you get it also. This is just basically the same thing as just a ton of AOE damage, rock-wise, cool. We have this, just a ton of AOE damage. Okay, with healing this time. Okay. Hey, this one and this one is just fucking stupid. They're basically the same thing. This one where you rush into people, also it's super buggy. This one I don't even use it because it's just a nightmare. But yeah, it's just like they're all like, 3 abilities are basically the identical one, and then there's like these 2 that are basically the same as well. One is impale, gives you some healing. This one just locks down enemies and shit and applies the bleed. Whereas the Technomancer is like, okay, he has 2 turrets. One of those turrets fucking locks people in place. Just like completely, like they're just stuck there and they're like, hey, shoot me in the fucking skull, or run up to me, shoot me with a shotgun and run away, or hit me with a sniper, because that's what the class is, it's his strength. Or as the Technomancer, you can also just self-heal. Or like there's so many times when I'm playing the Devastator where I'm like, in order to heal, I need to get close, but the minute I get close, I fucking die. And it's not like I'm not rocking gear, my dudes. It's not like I'm not like, hey, I grinded that boss, got me some legendaries. It's just like things don't work. And the only advice that I had from a lovely gentleman in our community who's been in our community for a long time, his name is Nub, he basically told me to play the Devastator like a caster, which he is the tank role. Thank you. It worked-ish, but he's still a tank. Like, what are we doing? And you know what pisses me off? The Trickster, which is by far, I think, the best class in the game, bar none. Maybe the Technomancer kind of nips at his heels a little bit sometimes, but the Trickster literally has a mod that is, whenever you activate one of his abilities, it's on a long-ass cooldown, or on a long-ass duration, you get like a 100,000 armor. That's it. Just activate the ability. You want to know it's a fucking joke? Where is it? This. Earthquake grants 1,000 armor per enemy hit, and can stack up to 10 times. Okay, unless you're fighting fucking those little melee fucks, when are you gonna hit that many enemies? Also, why such a little amount? Like, what? I know it scales. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna scale up to 100,000 of armor. Also, you're the Trickster. You're able to get shield just by shooting enemies in front of you. So not only are you getting health, but you're getting preventative damage for the future by having that shield. I feel like I'm just taking crazy pills, and I haven't heard many people talk about it, so I'm like, is it just me? Am I just bad? I might be just bad. That's totally an option. I'm not disparaging anyone who's shitting on me right now. I'm like, good, you just don't get it. I'm like, I might not, man. Help. Okay, no, I'm not in that place. Oh, also, I maxed out on pants. Can't have that. Yeah, but so anyways, yeah, if anyone is playing the Devastator and they're like, dude, I don't even know what I'm gonna do, I'm debating just restarting and playing another class. Well, I feel like, again, I mentioned it beforehand, but I do feel like the Devastator got nerfed to some extent, because Reflect, it doesn't work like this. It worked in the beta like this, and it kind of worked that way in the end game-ish, but I feel like the Reflect is nerfed in some very, very weird way. I don't know if it means it scales off anomaly power, but yeah, man, this is one of the most inconsistent abilities I've ever had the pleasure of using. Like in the beginning, it was great, and now it's like, especially now, and I'm like level 24. I'm at the very end of the campaign. My world tier is 5 or 6. I just find it doesn't do anything. I'll be sitting there and I'll be sucking up so much damage. And this is a great example. Like, this is what I think it was post potential nerf, where you see him sucking up so much damage and you see him throw it back, and there's like a consistent like 5 seconds after the fact where it just keeps spitting out that damage. That doesn't happen. Even if you're like sucking up a chain gun where it's just like boom, 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 boom. it still doesn't give you the proper damage throwing it back at them like that. It feels like almost like it cuts it in half. Like it's like, oh, I'm not sure if it's capped at the amount of damage you can have. I'm not sure if it's like it sends the bullets back at the specific enemy that dealt the damage, which I feel like is flawed. Yeah, like I would love it if this ability worked as like it's almost like you like throw a shotgun blast. And it hones into whoever's in your like cone of influence, because that way I could like suck up damage from everyone, turn to an elite, and throw it at him. But I try to do that, and it still seems like it doesn't work. Like the elite, like I only take down a chunk of the elite's damage, despite I just sucked in like enough damage to kill 6 men or 50 of me. And it's silly. And then there's skills like this, which like there's so many things about the Devastator. I'm like, why is this capped? Like, why couldn't this just be a stun ability? Like, you have to kill someone in order to get the benefits of armor and energy recharge, or a health recharge. But why? Otherwise, it's just like a shitty bit of damage. You're just like, eh, and it just doesn't mean anything. So, I don't know, man. There's certain aspects of this whole kit that I'm just like, okay, I guess. Kind of, I mean, no, it still doesn't make a lot of sense, but it is what it is. I guess I'll have to manage. But yeah, the problem with the Devastator, at least for me, is that he has such a struggle with dealing sufficient damage, but also ways of healing himself. Like I find myself forced to like weirdly have to pivot to like stuff like this, where it's like this specific mod called Striga, 30% chance when you ever get a headshot or critical damage to return it as health, which is actually massive, because that's all it's like a full health steal basically from a crit shot, which is already really good. It's on a 1 second cooldown, so it's pretty damn good. But it's a weird thing where it's like, okay, and even if I have this on a shotgun, it just still doesn't work. And same thing with a shotgun. I think I might have mentioned it, but have you guys ever like laid into an elite with a shotgun, and like it seemed like it only like took 30 shot or like 2 shots, and not like the full. I unloaded a full clip into you. It seemed like just shit didn't like. I'm not sure if there's like a grace period of damage or what. With captains, I don't know, man. And again, if anyone's struggling with the Devastator, I would highly advise building him as not a an armor or a weapon damage build. At least from my experience, I've built him in this way, which again was the Wizard Devastator, which is basically cooldowns. Okay, now we get some anomaly power when we activate our protections, which is like Golem. Oh wow, I forgot. I didn't even know I had. Yeah, we probably should put Golem on. I completely forgot about this skill entirely. Regardless, that wouldn't change the game, I promise you. Anyway. Well, again, the problem isn't that we're not able. Well, the problem is that we're not dealing a lot of damage, but the problem is also that how do we heal? How do we can deal damage as well? And yeah, I probably could take off the one ability for Golem though, and that wouldn't be the worst. And I could actually have some anomaly power, so that's not the worst. This one's not bad. So yeah, this one's pretty good. Increases fire power based on your anomaly power. So you're gonna want to try to build anomaly power, which is also kind of flawed. Like you're like, motherfucker, I'm just trying to survive. Like I can't control if the game doesn't give me any sort of like a chess piece that has a skill buffing but also is anomaly power, you know? And heaven forbid it's like long range damage, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm the Devastator. Okay. Anyways, and there's also melee damage, which is weird because the melee is finicky to some extent. And yeah, then there's just a lot of bleed at the end here. So I don't know. I'm just playing like this, and it's kind of managing. It's kind of working. But I don't know, guys. How do you feel about the Devastator? I very much feel like I'm like, God, man, if I could go back, I would have played the Technomancer. Even though I know the Trickster is probably the best just because of blighted rounds and things like that, but I think the Technomancer just seems like, because again, the problem I have is as I'm progressing, I try to problem solve. I try to do that in every stage of life. So I'm like, okay, this isn't working. Maybe I can switch to this ability. But then that just, if anything, that's worse, because then you just destabilize your whole thing you've been building towards, and then you'll like be frustrated with the fact that nothing's working, even though you're probably better off just going back to what was working and swapping out some mods. But the Technomancer, I can recall all of his skills because I play with all the characters. The Technomancer, Trickster, all those other characters. Pyromancer, But all the other characters, I can think about what their skills were and think, oh my god, that'd be perfect for this. Oh my god, like the one thing I find I'm struggling with is just not having, like, I need health. I need health, and the minute I get close, I'm already low health, so then I just die. Like, if the Devastator had some sort of thing where, like, the lower your health, the greater your armor, that way it incentivizes you to push in, but no, when you're weak, you shouldn't push in, but you need to go in to heal. So what the fuck are you doing? It's just like this fucking nightmare lost situation. At least for me. Again, I'm sure there's answers to my questions, but I just feel like the Devastator, man, is lost. That's the best way I can put it, because it just feels like all of his skills are kind of without a place. And I could see with some legendaries that like amplify reflect or like enhance anything else. I don't know. Or like one mod that could give him like crazy amounts of armor just for activating one skill. Then maybe. But I'm stuck in this la la land of like, man, it's getting to like level 30 and like endgame is gonna be a truck. It's gonna be like a oh god. I didn't expect this at all. But again, I think about like the Technomancer and I'm like, ooh, I could use his turrets, throw them out, run back, pluck them off, pluck their heads from afar, do that kind of shit. And at least then that would be an outcome, rather than it's like me just trying to play like this mid-range game, and then and again, you guys might be like, well, Grin, you gotta push in. I did that, man. I did all of that. I'm not sure what I'm missing, but it just feels like the Devastator is lost, is the best way I could put it. The Devastator feels like I just don't know why his abilities are like limited, whereas everybody else's seems like they're not. Why his reflect the way it is. Tremor is interesting, but also it seems like the buffs for Tremor are kind of just okay. Like, what do you call it? I think I seen a mod on the turrets for the Technomancer where it's whenever you activate a turret, which is up for a long ass time, you get like permanent blighter or terror rounds. Regardless, you get like a permanent effect on your bullets, which is huge, like massively huge. And the Technomancer or the Devastator's got nothing like that. Like nothing. Maybe when I get bleed, I'll get some healing and that could maybe pop off. I'm trying to put like all these other things here, but I don't know, man. I just feel with my Technomancer, I feel quite lost, and I'm hoping that it gets better. Who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, you've been nothing shy of lovely. Hopefully you do enjoy the rest of your day. Also, let me know what you guys think. Also, there'll be more Outriders content coming. I'm doing my best to push through this story, but also trying to manage everything else in my life. Kind of a little rough. I'm sure you guys can understand that yourselves as well. But yes, let me know if I'm off again, if Technomancer has his own problems, Trickster has his own problems. I just feel like at the very least, the problems are not like the Devastator's problems, which is literally like, what do I do, you know? Whereas the Trickster could be like, oh, well, you could use this skill, and you can play a lot more cautiously, and you're good, you're money. Whereas the Devastator's like, but I get close and I die. And none of my abilities seem to pack enough punch, even though I'm playing like the fucking wizard. I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time. Again, please help me if you are so kind. If I'm off in some regard, but maybe I'm off. Again, I do think the Technomancer though, or Devastator, fuck me, is just kind of weirdly flawed in some degree, in terms of his limit, like being limited, and just all of his skills are kind of uninspired. Like they all do the same kind of thing. Earthquake over this area, earthquake around me, pulsing earthquake. You know, it's just like, okay, I could throw down 2 turrets, and the Trickster puts down like a force bubble and like slices time itself. But okay, anyways. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for your time, and goodbye. Also, expect more Outriders all around the corner.